Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the all-new 2022 Mazda CX-5. We're going to talk about what's changing for the 2022 model year. Then we're going to get into why all this is important, and we'll kind of sum things up with my overall thoughts on this new CX-5. With that being said, let's get into the video. So let's talk about this new CX-5. First off, this is a refresh and not a full redesign, so there's a lot of stuff that has carried over, but let's talk about the changes at least. So first off, it's getting new front end styling from a headlight perspective and a grille perspective. The overall facade of the car is going to stay the same. Again, it's just headlights and the grille, mostly from a stylistic perspective. And then with the top of the line signature package, they are going to make everything body colored on the CX-5, so it looks a little bit more premium. And yeah, that's everything for that part of it. Now, going from that to the interior of the CX-5, they are slightly updating the seats with it to make it a little bit more supportive and a little bit more comfortable as well. And then they are also adding a little bit to the drive mode select, so there's a little bit more customization rather than just like normal and sport. So they are changing that just slightly. But other than that, the rest of the interior is pretty much going to stay the same from a design standpoint, and then all of the other features with it. Now, the other change here to the 2022 CX-5 is going to be to the packages you can get on the car. So there is no longer going to be a Grand Touring Reserve. It's just going to be called the Turbo package, and this is going to be the package where you can get the turbocharged engine. Other than that, the engine options haven't changed. So you still have the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter, and then you still have the turbocharged 2.5 liter as well. They're still paired to the same 6-speed automatic. However, Mazda has apparently retuned the transmission, so it's a little bit more responsive from a gear shift perspective. So I guess that's another change for the 2022 model year. And I guess the big headline change for the 2022 model year is going to be the fact that the CX-5 is now only available with all-wheel drive. They're no longer going to be offering this with front-wheel drive anymore. And so yeah, I guess that's another big change. And something I also did forget to mention earlier in the videos, they are also slightly redesigning the taillights with the CX-5. So headlights, taillights will look a little bit different. So sorry about missing that point right there. I guess my notes are a little bit too jumbled. But yeah, just a slight refresh with the car, so just a couple things are changing, but the biggest thing is the fact that you won't be able to get it with front-wheel drive anymore. Now let's get into the importance with this and then kind of my overall thoughts. So in terms of importance, I don't really think it's all that important. I mean, obviously offering all-wheel drive as the only option, I guess, is somewhat important. However, most of the CX-5 sold have all-wheel drive. Yeah, there's certain markets that will be a little bit more biased towards the front-wheel drive, but most people buying a CX-5 already order it with all-wheel drive, so it's not like anything's changing too much from that perspective. Now, that aside, the exterior styling changes aren't really going to do all that much because the CX-5 is already a really good looking SUV on the outside, so the slight tweaks to the headlights and taillights and the grille and all that kind of stuff, it's like, whatever. In terms of the renaming for the trim package, I mean, again, it's like just makes it more self-explanatory, I guess, because now people know, okay, this is the package that comes with a turbocharged engine because it's called the Turbo now. And I think that it's Mazda's attempt also to kind of pull in Porsche buyers and kind of market the CX-5 as like a budget Porsche Macan. I think that's at least what they're doing. I want you guys to let me know what you think on that, but I think that's kind of what Mazda's trying to do, is they're trying to be like, oh, well, instead of spending, you know, $50,000, $60,000, you could spend $30-something and you get this Turbo, right? I mean, it is turbocharged, but it's different than the Macan. But that's at least what I think Mazda's kind of aiming at with that. And then in terms of the interior, changing the seats, I never really had any complaints about the seats, so that's news to me, but I guess that's cool. The drive mode select thing, I think that is cool. With the transmission, making that more responsive, I think that's pretty important because that 6-speed is pretty old and it's, you know, somewhat lackluster compared to some other automatics that are on the market nowadays. So I guess that is a move in the right direction as well. So I'm all about that. But I guess that I'm slightly disappointed that they didn't change anything with the infotainment system and the gauge cluster. They're not horrible, but I think that those could use a little bit of love, a little bit of modernization, so maybe like a full digital gauge cluster that, like, you know, really just pops. And then the infotainment system, right? I don't think I need to say too much on that. So yeah, an update on the infotainment system would be great. Something a little bit larger, all that kind of stuff. But other than that, I think it's a pretty decent refresh. But I will be more excited when we get a full redesign and they really shake things up with the CX-5. And then I guess that also kind of includes my overall thoughts. I think it's in the right direction, but we just need a little bit more, especially on the infotainment system side of things. And then also, I guess, with the interior design and all that, if you get into like a new Mazda 3 or a CX-30, the design looks a little bit nicer than what you get in the CX-5. So I think that also updating the interior design would have been the right direction to go. But yeah, that's all for that. A little bit of a shorter video for today, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of information to go over, so it is what it is. If you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you think, and I'll see you guys.